Welcome to part 1 of our intro to risk management. It's about the anatomy of a risk. Now, if you look at the standard, it has a ugly but very helpful graphics to explain how a risk comes into existence. Now, if you look at the top, you have hazards. Hazards are just general things which can go wrong. Let's say Death Star is damaged. Now, that's kind of not yet helping because, well, you can damage it by just parking it in front of an interstellar mall, or you can damage it by flying through a black hole. Totally different use context, totally different way to damage it, and probably also totally different level of damage. So there is something called sequence of events, you're looking at it, which leads then to a hazardous situation. That's kind of a concrete situation where something dangerous or harmful could occur. Still, we are not at the risk. From this hazardous situation, a harm can happen. And that's, as the hazardous situation, a very concrete thing as opposed to the hazard, which is more kind of general. And from this perspective, that's the first thing you need to know, that you come from hazards, which are general, to very concrete situations, the hazardous situations, to harms, what can go wrong. And for every layer you can have a end-to-end relation between the two items. So it's important that you also approach the documentation of these things in a very systematic way. Now, let's zoom into the risk. A risk by itself is not just the harm, something kind of a hole in the hull or something like that. It's also a probability and it's also severity. So this hole in the hull, is this, how probable is it, does it happen? So you have your sensors when parking your Death Star in front of the mall, so probability may be pretty low. The mall may have also some protection measures. All these kind of things may influence the probability. And then there is the severity. So how ugly is it? How dangerous is it if a harm occurs? If it's just 2 by 2 inch hole, yeah, no big deal. If it's a 2 kilometer hole in your hull, well, that's a different story. So that's about the anatomy of a risk. So it comes from somewhere, it has to be concrete, and it has a probability and a severity. Pretty easy so far. So let's go to the next step.